Hello, everyone. Welcome to Allianz Joy. I'm so excited to see you here today. I hope you are watching, or I hope you're coming in live today. If that is the case, then stay afterwards because we have an interactive platform here on Win-Win Women, and you can ask questions and be with our guest, Christine Conti, today. My superstar, I'm very excited to introduce superstar Christine today. I am wonderful, excited to have her here. And just a couple of housekeeping things. You might be watching on Spotify. There is different platforms that we recently have entered to listen to the show as a podcast. Of course, you can watch on the Roku, on Apple, and on Amazon. If you're there, as I know you are there because I have a good following on television, then please give me also comments and so forth in or YouTube uploads or on social media if you're watching. Today, of course, we're bringing you again. That is always the outcome of the show, right? I want to bring you joy. I want to leave you with a smile, with a lot of information on your mind, body, health, and wellness. So today I'm going to chat with my guest, Christine Conti. Christine is an international fitness educator, a chronic disease wellness specialist. She is specialized in aging, facial exercise, and rehab. And she is 2023 IDA World 2023 Fitness Professional of the Year. And that is a huge deal. So I am flabbergasted today and super excited to have her here with me. Best-selling author as well. Christine's a podcaster for years on out. I just realized yesterday that 5 years ago I was on your show. Business coach. She is a business coach. She's COO of Reinventing the Woman International, and 4 times Ironman. We're going to start with that today. Christine is also a corporate wellness consultant and keynote speaker with a passion to help people prevent chronic conditions and improve quality of life. Going to talk definitely about that today. After a life-altering diagnosis at 8:30, Christine has devoted her life to teaching the world that anything is possible. And I love that so much because, yes, you are a huge inspiration. Yes, I've known you and worked with you for years on stages all over the country. Welcome, Christine. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to see you so fantastic and stepping into your own greatness. And it's been quite the journey since we first met for both of us.
Yes, it's been a long time ago. It's been years. I am very happy to have you here. And you're coming from the Maryland area today. So you're in a hotel room, you're on the go again, you're traveling again. Tell me, tell me first a little bit, who is Christine? What the heck?
Christine wears many, many hats. Some people call it a multi-potentialite, whereas you thrive when there's lots and lots of things going on. And sometimes, everyone says, you gotta find your niche. You have to have one thing. And I say, no way. You have lots of passions in the world. So I am extremely passionate about many different things, but it all falls under the category of how can I help you live your healthiest, happiest life? And that's what everything I do boils down to when I think of who is Christine. I am here to inspire you to believe in yourself
And
until you believe in you.
And you do that very well. I'm a huge follower and I love, love, love you for what you do. And I'm so happy. I want to go right into that. I'm so happy that you say it is very exciting for me. It gives me energy to wear many hats because I get that all the time. Right? I've got to focus, stay on one thing, don't be in too many lanes, it's dangerous driving too many lanes. But I get energy as well of having a variety of things going on. So I love that. How do you though manage that work balance, personal life hustle? What do you do best when it comes to managing your time?
First of all, there's no such thing as work-life balance. Like there's no like, oh, do this or do that. It's honestly, you're going to have times where work is going to be a priority. And there's going to be times when family needs to be a priority. And I think that throughout every day, I know for myself, certain days are chaos. Other days I know, you know what, I've got a few hours here. I'm going to go have a glass of wine with my husband. I'm going to, do something with my child, I'm going to go see a game. And I schedule that into my calendar to
Mhm.
make sure that at the end of the week, it wasn't all work or all one thing. And I do think that is very, very important because, like I said, I have gotten into traveling a lot and whatnot. And I make sure that, yes, if I am going to be traveling, I need to be hyper focused on certain things with my family when I get back, even if I do have a lot of other things going on. And I think, again, when you ask yourself at the end of a day, is what I'm doing working towards my passion? Is it answering it? All those little things that may distract you. In the last 10 years, I've gotten really good at saying, is what I'm doing right now, is answering this email or responding to this social media, I can get you 8 bazillion followers and blah, blah, blah. Like, is that moving me towards my goal and helping more people be more healthy and happy? If
Right.
it's not, then guess what? I may not answer that email.
I
I
like that.
may not allow time for, a million different little things that might be distracting.
Yeah, prioritize right there. Yes. And I love what you said. It's so important to focus when you're working and when you're there. That gives you that passion, that gives you that energy. When you come home, you're in a good mood because you've done something that you love. So that is also, your time is quality time and it's right there and it's better time with your family when you have done what you love. So I love that. Absolutely. We're going all the way back. What brought you? Give me the story that I love so much. What brought you to do what you're doing? What is your and come to this purpose?
All right. Well, I know, like, this is opening up a can of worms here.
I like that.
So, all right. So back in the day, the dinosaurs roamed the earth. Okay. Um, I grew up in a family with 2 older sisters and I idolized them. They were athletes, they played volleyball, and they wound up playing in college. I loved movement. Movement was something that I enjoyed, and it was always a part of my life. Fast forward, I had a, God bless you, mother up there in heaven, but she had said, fitness and wellness, really, this is a hobby. This is not a full-time thing. You need to be a success. And she set all of us up to be very independent and wanted to make sure that we would be okay in life. We didn't need a man. We didn't need it's so education was very important and stress, but the idea of success, I think, was always, like money, right? So I went off and was in investment banking in New York City, majored in business and English. I played volleyball in college, and I quickly realized that sitting behind a desk was not what I loved. The money's great, but like I'm 13 hours a day. I'm like, that's not life. And I just kind of thought I didn't picture this. So went back and got my master's in curriculum and education because I figured I can teach and I can coach. So I've got these skills. So I wound up teaching English and it wound up for 16 years
Yeah.
and was coaching. But in the meantime, I wound up getting certified in college. I took a bunch of exercise science classes, psychology, working with, autism and all of these different kind of modalities, and took a full year of immersive yoga and got certified in to be a personal trainer on a group X. And I did that as a side hustle. Always. Oh, wait, I worked at all the gyms and all the group X and had all the certifications, like you name any crazy certification, because I thought it was fun. Like it was my, cool. Even if
Yeah.
I didn't like it, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I learned that I didn't like this.
Good gig on
Um,
the side. Yeah.
yeah. So that was kind of always working towards my passion, was always woven into this idea. But I was stuck in this mindset of, you have to have this job and you have to get that paycheck and you have to have that pension and the benefits, and that's just life. I didn't know anything different.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I turned 30, and many people know this story, I got hit with this really aggressive form of, it's kind of a hybrid of a rheumatoid arthritis. So I tell people it's an autoimmune disease, but most people say, oh, it's treatable, that's fine. Well, the issue is that my maternal grandmother had the same disease. It left her a quadriplegic. It really attacked her spine, her cervical spine, which that's really what this was about. And I don't talk about that a lot, but she died when I was 10. She was super positive, I have to say that. So I did kind of observe that and I didn't understand why. when I was younger, but got to observe that a lot. And this was when I was handed that diagnosis at age 30 last year. I mean, never mind. But when I was handed that diagnosis, I thought it was a death sentence. And when the doctor said, I'm sure you've got, more years of living independently, I almost fell off the table because this can't be me. I'm married, I'm active, I love movement. I have a son, and going through that process of being that my mother was the main caretaker for my grandmother and having round the clock nurses. And I know the toll it took, both physically, emotionally, financially, on everybody. And I thought to myself, I don't want that for me. And I spent many, many months in a very dark place where, I would rather die than have my family have to do that. So what was kind of great is that I went around to lots of different doctors and I got a lot of different, perspectives. Yeah. And you know what? I did do lots of rounds of different chemotherapies and all these I would have shots I would give myself shots all the time. And I was very sick but I got through it. And I had the support of my family, and I look at my kids and I was like, what kind of a role model are you going to be? Who do you want to be? Like, I really had to think about, like, Christine, who are you? Who do you want to be in this world? And, you have two choices: do something or do nothing. Always choose something. That's my Wonder Woman. And something clicked in me and I'm like, I'm not giving up. So I started researching what other things can I do, with, again, being in the fitness industry and working for all these companies. I knew exercise scientists and doctors, and I read everything at the Mayo Clinic and the CDC and Harvard Health. And I started researching, and then I started being experiment one, from acupuncture to going vegan to laser lights to new sleep to on and on and on, just so that I just wonder, what if, right? And eventually, I kind of realized, as I'm still teaching, so working full time, I realized it's something out there. So there's something bigger. I just kept feeling like I should be happy in these walls. Yes, I'm changing lives of students, and something, it just didn't fit. Like, I was teaching the wrong thing to the wrong people, just like in business.
Right.
I was teaching the wrong thing to the wrong people. And there was a point where I said to myself, listen, if this is what's going to happen, if I will be crippled in however long, or if this disease is going to take me down, well, there's some things that Christine Conti hasn't done yet. So it kind of motivated me to start. And I even started researching, like, athletes with disabilities and people that have this disease that still do things, and what's their lifestyle like. And it was just that education of, you know what? I think that I can help people like me that are going through this grieving process of part of them died. And now I had to reimagine what I thought exercise was. I thought it was like you had to run super fast and, your eyeballs are bleeding when you're done with your sport. And it really wasn't. It was about how many years can I live on this earth without pain and be healthy, whatever that means, but be independent is the bigger picture. Independent and happy. Yeah. So what can I do? And that's when it clicked. I have the ability now. I thought that I got struck with this terrible thing, and what a terrible card this was. And in the meantime, I was given a gift. And that is my gift in life. And people, and I know, Ilian, you work with so many people too, that they struggle to find their passion and their meaning in life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, when you want to find that, go to your trauma. Yeah. Go to your trauma, go to your hurt, go to whatever that was, because that's your gift. Yeah. And that was mine. And now I started writing, research and articles and interviews and courses. And now I get to talk to hospitals and doctors and universities and all over the world, pretty much. Yeah. Because of embracing, hey, you know what? Yeah. Let's gather together and say, we got this.
And
What
you know
can
what is so powerful, Christine, about your story, and thank you for sharing. It's very scary. It is, yes, only 5 years ago. Let's stay there, right? You look beautiful and
it's
gorgeous.
been quite a, yeah, it's a
It's been
decade
quite
of research and it
hmm, quite a
decade and more.
journey. Yeah.
Plus
It's work. It's
plus
work.
five.
So two things you pointed out and that I like so much, and I talk many times about my guests about exactly that. In the first place, you need to be proactive. You wanted to know. You're in the dip first. You're deep down. You're faced with your own mortality. That's a hard part. But when you get into thinking a little bit and you start into crawling into that action part, right? Slowly crawling into that action part, you became proactive. You got all the information and more, right? That's where a lot of people stop. They go to one doctor. You got all the information and more, and you became so well informed and educated about what is really going on that you could use that to help somebody else, to help others. And that's what you're doing now. And that's what I love so much, to step into that action and to stay busy and to keep that mindset of I can win because you are a superwoman and you have. I love that icon of you, right? You have to use that many times, like, let's go. Ironman, incredible, incredible, incredible. You stepped into that. And now you are even helping others in person as well this weekend. So you're in Maryland, you're doing an Ironman, and now you are a guide, right?
Yes.
So that is helping others. You gotta run. You gotta do it, I understand. So you're doing it to help others. Give me that beautiful story of one of your wonderful young men that you helped. And I'll share this picture real quick. I want to share this picture because this is super, super amazing. This is you at a retreat. This is you last year getting Fitness Instructor of the Year right here. Beautiful picture. And we have this young man. Tell me a little bit about him.
Oh, Chris
You and
Nikic.
your purpose right now in, yeah, in Maryland.
So many people have helped me over the years. So many people that, and I really believe we all need to do this at some point, is give back. And it doesn't have to be money, right? We always think I've got to give money and donate. No, your time is so valuable. And after I started my bucket list of running and doing, I've done some crazy things that, okay, I don't recommend everyone do, but I started pacing marathons, which kind of pacing, helping new runners. And then I started looking into, I saw all these people with these amazing stories. This man has no leg and that person has no arm and this. And I ran into Chris Nikic at the Boston Marathon a few years ago. And he's actually, I learned his story. He has Down syndrome and is the first man who has ever completed the Ironman World Championships with Down syndrome. He's completed all the major world marathons. He's won ESPY awards. He's been honorary WWE Hall of Fame inductor. He is someone, his father refused to believe that his disability was going to stop him. And when I kind of came across his story, it hit me because while I don't have Down syndrome, I don't have autism, I've been told by many people, you can't do this. Yeah. You shouldn't be able to do this. And that is something that I really connect with. Should everybody be doing an Ironman? No. However,
No.
Right? But if someone tells you, you want to do something and someone says you can't do that,
yeah.
His father thought, listen, there's all these people out there with neurodivergent, they're autistic, they're Down syndrome, all of these different diseases, been told no. What if we try? What if we try and give them skills to run, to bike, and it actually helps cognitively and socially, and we're actually developing skills that translate over to the real world, right? Jobs. So that he thought to himself, if my son, what's going to happen after school? He sits home and plays video games and he's just wastes away. And that's what happens to a lot of people, a lot of, children that become adults. So he started training them. And now I had just reached out to him and said, listen, I run Boston every year for the Alzheimer's Association. How can I help? And I started, that picture was last year, right about this time. I was Chris's guide for the Ironman half race where we swim, we bike, we run, if people don't know what that is. And it was, he's someone that's advocating for inclusion. And that's kind of, like I said before, Eliane, about, at the end of the day, does what you're doing answer the bigger picture? And mine is to advocate, you know, for diseases and people can do things, and to health, right? And health is fitness. So health and happiness, longevity, independence. And I look at these athletes who were always told, no, you're not good enough, you're not smart, you're not. And to see them cross a finish line and feel like they've accomplished something, it, your heart grows. And they'll always say, oh, Christine, thank you so much for guiding. I said, no, nope. This is 100%. I always say it's kind of selfish, because your heart just grows to see some of these amazing human beings with the biggest and so much love be able to do something they were told no. And that's when I think of chronic diseases.
Yeah.
You're given a diagnosis, right? People like me think it's a death sentence and you can't this. You go to the doctor. I believe in Western medicine. Don't get me wrong. Like, you go, but it's that belief that you trip over, that you can't, you'll never be able to. And we're
All
out
these
there
medical
now.
things.
Yeah, showing the world. So that was Chris Nikic, 1% Better.
Yeah.
And now I'm guiding some other athletes just in different places around the world, so that we advocate. And it could be anything that you get into, but that's where I'm at. And that's tomorrow. If
I
anyone's
love it.
listening live.
Yeah, so today you're sitting down now for just a little bit. You're going to train, you're going to eat healthy, and you're going to get after it tomorrow. Yeah, that's superstar for me, because unfortunately I cannot even do that anymore if I wanted to train. But you know, we do things to our bodies as well. You're very good. You have knowledge about it. You know what you're doing. You talk about it in so many platforms. MedFit is one of the platforms. Burn Along, where you are an advocate and a leader. All over the world with SEW Fitness Mania, IDA, I said, CanFit Pro. You're talking all over the world about these important things. It's all about not giving up, not telling somebody they can't do it, promoting the other way, right? And helping people just into that field. So you've also done an aging and a beautiful phase rejuvenation. I can't find the word right now, recovery kind of, what is it, certification that I did with you, which I love, doing the facial exercises. Our face has muscles too that we need to keep up with. So I hear you still say that. I love it so much. What are some of the challenges that you now, being at this level of success, you just got back from an amazing retreat in Puerto Rico? Did I say that right?
Dominican Republic.
Oh, Dominican Republic this year, yes. And I had so many people went, so many things accomplished there, and not just body, not just mind, both mind, body, spirit, all together, helping women to reinvent themselves, which is one of your platforms. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. What are some of the challenges that you would face right now to keep up with the things that you are doing?
You said it. Keep up.
Keep up. Climb into action, right?
My poor husband, I've got some things in the mix, Ilion, coming out that we're going to talk about in the next couple months, that I cannot talk about just yet. However, I brought my husband on to, you know, a meeting just to be another kind of third or fourth or fifth ear, right? Because we do things as a, you know, as a team, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
We are very much, I could not do what I do and travel without him. And he is so good with the kids and scheduling and whatnot. One of the, you know, I would say one of the challenges, so what he was saying, you know, is a lot of what I do, I am the out front person. I am the connector, right? If you come to me, I may not, right? Like, I will connect you with the person that's the expert. And I like being out there, and I like, you know, I do talk about, you know, chronic diseases and overcoming. That's, yeah, that is my jam, right? But when it, you know, when push comes to shove, I don't like the back end. I don't like sitting behind spreadsheets. I don't like setting up like all the website stuff and the back end of payments and honestly, that's why I left banking. And then when I left teaching, it was becoming the same way of these tracking and the charts. And I'm like, okay, time it out. Like, I do the research. I love to read and speak and help people and inspire them. And this wasn't it. So for me, one of my challenges is to make sure that I'm out there and I know what my strengths are, but also fully accept my weaknesses and one of the things that I know about myself is that I need to work hard enough that I have enough income that I can pay an assistant to do those things that have to be done. But I'm not good at it, but I choose not to be good at it.
Yeah.
So it's like I could do all the things on social media and it could take me 2 hours and it could take someone 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So really,
Right. Yeah.
that's one of the challenges of, I don't enjoy this. I really enjoy this. How can I make this bigger so that I find the right people? And it's been, a couple years of, okay, I think this person's right. Nope. Or I'm working with this company. That's not a good fit either. And that's okay. But knowing like it is really challenging to really accept and go after that help, because again, money is an issue for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But if you don't invest the money, like for example, in, working with you or joining different groups and going on whatever, going to a conference, you're going to stay stagnant.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the challenges is getting to that point of, I can't afford this, but you can't afford not to.
Yeah. Yes, I've been there myself. I totally recognize that, and thank you so much for that. A lot of people, especially here in the show, we talk a lot about business, doing business as a woman, also getting to that point where it just really becomes overwhelming. I realized that 2 years ago I was in that state of overwhelm, like a lot of things that I want to wear a lot of hats too. What am I going to do and prioritize? But I can't do it all. It's really discipline, right, in the first place. But I learned, just like you said, to have a team. And I was not good at having a team because I was a one-person operation, right? I was just always a one-person business, and I made all the decisions myself. So I learned to have a team with an assistant. I have coaches. I needed to start listening to other people, right? And accept what my shortcomings were or where I could actually be better and shine. And so working with other people and accepting and learning and having somebody just be willing to grow yourself is constantly very important there too. So thank you so much for that, because I don't like the back end either. I don't the back office, as we call that, right? I'm not much for spreadsheets and all the work, and we forget how much time it takes. It's very time.
And some people love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
And let people that love it do it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. What's on your bucket list?
Oh, geez. That's always scary, right? Always scary to ask that question. So I do want to do, I have not done the Grand Canyon. I'd like to do rim to rim to rim. Grand Canyon. My oldest sister, she's hiked the Grand Canyon many, many times. So she promised, she's retiring next year, that she's going to take myself and a couple other people to do that. But we are going to stay at the lodge, like the nice lodge in the bottom, because I'm not a camper. Give me the Hilton any day.
Yeah, no ants for you. No ants in your pants. Yeah.
So that's one of them. I'm going to take my athlete Thomas, who's autistic, that I'm running with tomorrow. I promised him that we would do all the major world races, marathons together. So that's in the next, not right away, but in the next few years. There is, there's always some travel. There's always some speaking, but that's but definitely the Grand Canyon's on my list. And I'd love to deliver a baby one day. Not bizarre.
That's bizarre. Yeah, no,
Right.
I love that. I love that.
Bring life. And one of my best friends is a, like OB and whatever. And she'll have a bad day at work, and I'll, and she'll, like, if I'm talking to her, and I said, okay, so now how many lives did you bring into this world? She's like, 6. I'm like, you win. Like,
It's amazing. That's an amazing job, isn't it? That is an amazing job.
It puts things in perspective. Like, this is my mind.
Yes, I love that so much. That is just amazing. Life lessons, just 2 or 3 life lessons. What are some of your very famous quotes? I know a few. I'll let you bring up some of these quotes and why they mean so much to you.
Well, my Wonder Woman, of course, right? In life you have 2 choices: do something or do nothing. Always choose something. And I believe that there's people that are complacent and they never realize their gifts in life. And that is my worst fear for other people. And once you know your gift, your eyes open and you look at the world differently. You look at people differently.
Yeah.
And little things don't bother you as much. So it's just such a powerful, powerful thing. My other life lessons is I love the words, yes, you can. Flipping the switch in your mind. And I'm sure that a lot of people listening have heard, you know, if you're being coached or someone tells you something like, don't stop. Don't think about whatever. And I always think if you're going to use negative words, that's going to affect how you're thinking. So why not? Yes, you can. Keep going. And it's so some of those, I think that mindset is really important to remember that anything's possible. That remember that the glass ceiling that you put on is your glass ceiling.
Absolutely. It's your thinking, your limiting beliefs, all that stuff. Yes, 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 yes. So true. Yes. I remember, where was I going with that thought? That I always tell with the positive words, right? I always tell my clients as a life coach, in a coaching situation, I always tell my clients to do an exercise for 24 hours, catch your own thinking in any negative thought. I can't do it. I won't do it. I won't have it. I couldn't have it. I will never have it. You know, everything that has to do with that. Catch yourself first to create that awareness, right? It's always a matter of awareness and knowing that you're doing it constantly. And then you can start changing it around and say, I can. Yes, I can.
And it doesn't have to be hokey. It doesn't have to be like I'm walking around being like, I love me. I'm awesome. Not at all. It's that little negative thing on your shoulder that it jumps in all the time. I don't feel good. Oh, I look fat in these jeans. Blah, blah, blah. That's the right. And or the people around you that are complaining. All right, well then move, do something, right? There's your do. So what are you gonna do about it? And it's so funny. The week before and I do not recommend this, by the way, I'm just gonna throw this out here before I say this. Do not recommend this. I did the 100-mile race, and that's a foot race, like running. And the week leading up to it, I decided the race is on Saturday morning. It starts at 7 a.m. I finished Sunday morning at some time. And the week before, I decided I was going to have a week of positivity. I did. I was like, that's it. I'm having a week of positivity. No negative. Like, so if I thought negative, I replaced it with some thought in my head. I was like, not going to worry about small stuff. I'm not going to complain. Everything's positive, working towards, oh, your race is this weekend. Yep, I'm going to finish it. Everything I said. And that was, you talk to a lot of people who've done these crazy things. They're some of the hardest physical and mental things that you could possibly think of.
I believe.
And you want to give up. Your mind is just out of control. Like I could look at people during that race and know if they've given up.
Yeah.
That's how, I mean, it's all mental.
Yes. Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that, I mean, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, downpour, dark. And I remember looking up, and one of my friends, because you have a whole group with you that supports you, was like, are you going to go back out and finish? Like I had, 25 miles left or something. And I was like, yeah, why? Let's go. I'm ready. I'm going to just change and they were like, because my mind said, we're doing this. I already convinced myself that we were finishing.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we just need to talk ourselves to success, whatever that is to you.
Yeah, very true. And it's also very common, right? And we know this now by all research being done, that what we're doing first is going to the negative thought. Right? We definitely first want to go to the negative thought. That is human. So to train ourselves again, and I do that also by lots of affirmations or exercises with people, right? To train ourselves into that mindset of, yes, I already won. See yourself already being there, right? And then keep that trajectory. It's still very challenging that you do so, and especially physically. So everybody wants to know if Christine Conti eats pizza. Or once in a while.
See, this is the thing. This is same thing. I eat all the carbs, okay, but I eat a lot of vegetables, a lot of raw vegetables, a lot of salads. I do eat meat. I love my grilled chicken. I love my tacos. I love I'll have hamburgers, things like that, but I don't eat a lot of bread. That's one thing. And the other thing, I do have a glass of red wine every night.
Yeah.
I married into a big Italian family. I mean, but
You're Dutch.
everything's in moderation, you know,
You're Dutch. You gotta have a glass of wine.
it's
Yeah.
also Dutch. Yes, our Dutch, windmills, tulips, and wooden shoes also every night. But
I love
there's
it.
no, like, I don't think there's any secret. I'm not,
Nah.
because of my disease, I had to figure out what works for me.
Absolutely.
So if I am going to, I don't eat a lot of pizza that's really greasy. Like, I may get some specialty pizza that doesn't have a lot of grease and, might be a little bit healthier.
Mhm.
Can I eat a whole pizza? No, because it would make me, because of the salt and everything else.
Yeah.
I really watch the SOS, the salt, the oil, the sugar.
Yeah.
If I overdo any of those, I blow up like a blowfish. Like, I gave up Chinese food.
Yeah.
I had to right away. The sodium
Yeah.
I can't have, and all of these things affect, you think of like, oh, my shoulder, my back, what did I do? My stomach. I mean, everyone with IBS, that's a form of an inflammatory, and
Yeah.
many times it's brought on by food. And we don't always remember that our food also affects our internal organs.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's kind of my little secret of, I mean, without going into too much detail, that you can find something that works for you, but it's that overdoing it that kills you.
I love it. And that's exactly what I always think. Overdoing, not too much of anything, right? Just keep it. And I remember telling you a long time ago that one of my things was as well for that whole mindset. Don't take something, go do something, right? I talked about that a long time ago. That was always my motto. Exercise helps in any form. It helps our mental, helps our emotional state of mind. It gives us so much strength if we can just live up to that positive thinking and stay there, that trajectory. So thank you so much for sharing, Annie. I am going to share a little bit of information of where we can find Christine. Contifit.com. Contifit.com, www.contifit.com. That's where we can find Christine. And then another amazing thing that I want you to, we've got a few minutes that I want you to tell about is www.rtwtribe.com. So tell me a little bit about reinventing the woman.
So another one of my businesses. Stay tuned,
business.
right?
Great business.
So reinventing the woman, I met this amazing human. We happened to be using the same publisher when we were writing our books. And her book came out about 6 months before mine. And our publishing company would, once a month or whatever, kind of supporting authors going through this process. And we would have these Zoom meetings. And I was on one day and she popped on and I'm like, who is that? Like, she's just, her energy and just, there's something about her. And I was like, Lisa, I'm like, hey, we got to connect. Jumped on a Zoom, we're talking and realized we had so much in common. And, it's funny because we're different ages, we're different races, we're different lifestyles that we've had. But the one thing that we realize is that we've reinvented ourselves many times in this world. And we realize that every time we've done it with a lot of passion and purpose. And we have the same mission. So this is my business partner, Lisa Charles. Yes, Coach Lisa is what she goes by.
She's been on my show last year.
And she's fantastic. And I said to her, Lisa, just like when I started a podcast, I said to my friend Brian, hey, I want to start a podcast. And he's like, I'm in. Lisa and I were having this conversation. I'm like, Lisa, one of the things I always wanted to do is like, do a retreat. And she's like, let's do it. I'm like, okay, that was it. So why take a group of women, locally when we could take them internationally? I'm sure that'll be easier. But as soon as we met, so Lisa's in Florida, I'm in the New Jersey shore. So we actually, over the last few years, we decided we took a group on a retreat, but that's not enough. And both of us know so many people around the world. We know that women deserve some time to sit back, to be away from their families, maybe away from their friends, to take some time for themselves. And, we're not talking just yoga retreats or doing things. It's everything.
Yeah.
Being around women now of all ages, all races, all religions, from all over the world, and realizing that we all have such common needs. And it's fascinating. There's no words to explain how these you know, we had 30 something strangers come together and they leave as sisters for their life at the end of this time.
Unbelievable. There's
So
power.
yeah, so we have a group. So we thought we can't just be a retreat. How do we keep everyone together? How do we help the entrepreneurs grow? How do we connect the people who want business this or fitness that? We have lawyers, doctors, you know, anyone. We have people that are, you name it, right? Yeah. They've CEOs of big companies and people in the government and diplomats. It's everyone, because we realize that many groups are about one niche, but really the world is not about one niche. It's about serving the needs of everyone. So we really promote inclusivity, diversity. And Lisa and I are connectors. Yeah. Women come to us, how can we connect you with, oh, you want to write articles? Here, we know all these people that write, that own, you know, you want to write a book? Here, let us give you some resources. And here, by the way, all of these women in the group, you need some advice about something, this person is your RTW tribe. Reach out to them. They're also in this with you. So that's kind of our big picture. And we just got back from another sold out retreat, and we take over entire resorts. That's our specialty. Yes. So there's no one else but us.
I love
in
it.
paradise.
I love it. I gotta go. I gotta be there next time. Miss out. I'm gonna put all the links, my dear. I'm gonna put all the links to your book, Split Second Courage, bestseller, to your women website, Reinventing the Women website, to your website. I put all the links in, of course, our YouTube and replays, so that people can find you. Thank you so much for your time today. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna quit recording. And we're going to wrap it up together, and we'll have some Q&A, and I will see you next week. Thank you, Christine Conti, and thank you, my viewers and listeners. I will see you next week for another episode of Allianz Joy. Love you. Make it a great day.